I'm Dave Carvajal. This is Thunder, Wisdom, and Insights with some of my favorite leaders on the planet.
I was born in Birmingham, which, you know, compared to New York, seems like a small town. It's not that small. It's a real city. Yeah. So I grew up there. I left immediately after college and went to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is a smaller town than Birmingham. And I ended up going to work for a really interesting media entrepreneur, actually, really innovative guy named Chris Whittle. Chris Whittle was in the place-based media business. Back in the day, he was doing crazy things like creating these campus posters that were newsletters in colleges and getting advertising for them. He was creating like comics that went in laundromats and getting P&G to advertise, Tide to advertise for them. So his whole vision was around advertising can live anywhere and content can live anywhere. He was ahead of his time, but it was all very physically placed, right? So I went to work for him to do something that was very innovative and very controversial. I launched a news program for high school kids called Channel 1 News. It was in 12,000 high schools and middle schools across the country. It delivered 7.2 million kids every day. It was 10 minutes of news and 2 minutes of advertising. And it was completely free to the school, along with the satellite dish on the roof, the head-end unit, and TVs for every classroom. But it was paid with by 2 minutes of commercials. Think Nike, think Levi's, think Pepsi. Because it was delivering an audience, a huge audience of teens. Well, this became very, very controversial because it's in schools. And the teachers' unions came out swinging, and it was, it became this very interesting public debate about should there be advertising in schools. Didn't stop Chris Whittle, forged ahead. It was a tremendously successful program. As a matter of fact, just little fun fact, Anderson Cooper got his start on Channel 1.
Oh, you're kidding me. Wow.
Anderson Cooper was a fact checker on Channel 1 when he was 22 years old, and then became a reporter for, that was his first reporting journalistic assignment, was he went to Myanmar for Channel 1. So that's how Lisa Ling also, by the way, got her start on Channel 1. So anyway, that's how I got my start in the media business, and I was fascinated, and Chris was an incredibly dynamic media innovator and entrepreneur. So that's sort of where I began in this crazy media world. And from there I moved to New York. I moved to New York with Channel 1 as that business continued to grow. It was eventually sold to Prime Media. So, and at that point that I branched into cable. Cable was in its sort of the apex of its growth. I went to Food Network when it was still a relatively young network, and it had grown big enough to move from that sort of instructional cooking channel to a network and a brand that was much more entertainment focused. It was much more about building a brand around celebrity chefs and about the entertainment value. We moved it away from what I called stir and simmer branding. So that was also incredibly dynamic, very big growth period for cable at that time.